the most important
Yes,
thing.
ma'am. That
Yes.
exactly.
So, okay. So if the teachings then, if we agree, are the most important thing, what is it that, what are the teachings? What should we, what is to be learned? And since we're here, we hear the word Dhamma. So what is Dhamma? And we can start off with that discussion. What is Dhamma?
But please excuse me. I just wanted to touch on the things that you mentioned about cause and effect and an underlying wisdom. And in this vernacular, it's a different language, but it's not so different from what is here now, is that wisdom arises and there is no self that directs it. And what you said about there's this wisdom underlying running through this universe, we call that panya, a wisdom.
It's not underlying the universe. But
I mean,
like
are you
that.
really talking about Pandya? Something underlying something?
No, but he said wisdom running through.
Yeah, but so it's just a name. It's just a name that coincides. When you use the
For discussion, see, we need to touch on something and start somewhere. And he also said cause and effect. So
Yeah, but
those
it's
are
not
two
Panya,
topics
right?
that are, well, we can start with Panya. We can start with that or cause and effect, because those are two things he mentioned. You asked him, and that's what he mentioned. That's all. It's an
yeah,
idea,
but it's pointing to something else. We use the same words, but pointing to different realities.
Okay, cause and effect. What do we mean by that? Okay. She mentioned this is a word. Okay. So what do we mean? What is cause and effect? What do we mean by this?
The effects of your actions.
Effects of one's actions. Okay.
You choose to go through door A, it's going to have a consequence, or maybe many other options. Other
Okay.
doors.
Who is doing the choosing to go through door A?
I like to believe we are, but there are, I think, unseen forces sometimes at work, and sometimes
What kind of unseen forces?
we're influenced by lots of things. I think that we
Like?
that we can't see.
Such as?
Energies.
What kind of energy?
Could be source or God. Could be many other things I don't understand.
Earlier, when Betty mentioned God willing, and Azita said that her daughter also says the same thing, inshallah. I was thinking, what triggered such reactions? Is it because there's the experience of things in life that is beyond control? Right? That's why people say, God willing, something happened, you don't want it to happen, but it happened. So it's because something happened that was beyond control. Or someone says, inshallah, it's for the same reason, it's up to God. And they come to the...
Just between my daughter and I kind of, it's a view that she's got, because I've said, what can you prove about God? And she said, well, just look around you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she can talk better than me. But that, and so I think it's a view of God.
But also, when things happen to people who believe in God, they say it's God willing, right?
Well, yes.
Because
yes,
life is like
God
that.
willing
Life
has happened.
life is
Yes.
unpredictable.
Yes.
We don't know what's going to happen,
Yes.
right? And when it's happened, it's gone. Nothing can be changed,
Yeah.
right? So, and you're talking about cause and effect. So for someone who wants to understand, who has the accumulations to understand, rather than just fall back on some theory, preconceived idea about what might have been, maybe it's God or whatever, they might want to investigate what really is happening, because right now even something is happening.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? They're seeing, they're thinking, what is it? And yes, we are talking about Buddhism being about cause and effect. So this is what it is all about. There are moments that are cause, there's moments that are effect. And what's a cause, what's effect? From when was the cause, and what will the cause lead to? What is the effect? How is the effect? How does the effect? What constitutes effect? If you talk about I'm a person, I get walk in and out of the door. It's still talking about a story, a long story about people. It's not talking about what's being experienced through the five senses and the mind, because that's what it boils down to. One moment of experience through one of the five senses and the mind. And that's the reality from moment to moment. Everything else is just a story we make up about me here in this room, and then have an idea about cause and effect in that regard. But the real cause and effect is actually arising and falling away immediately, and there's no understanding. So now that I've pointed that out, are you interested in understanding that?
I'm just here to listen. Thank you.
What you mentioned something about things happening that are beyond control and circumstances. Here, it's spoken of conditions. Things are conditioned. Events, things, what people do, people say, and so forth. And that sometimes before, when people come here, when they're brand new, they'll say something like, they'll hear, oh, life is consciousness. And then for myself, after coming here and listening a bit, I understood that consciousness is chitta, and it doesn't belong to a self, this physical, this body, this vehicle that I call Eve, isn't real. It's just this, so to speak, as you said, consciousness running through, this energy or force running through, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I started listening more and more, and it started making sense to me. So if I may say something supportive, is keep an open mind and an open heart and see how it goes. Maybe the first time for me, I was a bit, what's all this terminology and this vernacular? It was a little bit, it takes time to become accustomed to and understand what people here are saying, and the loving kindness and the intention here. It's not a hard religion, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you found that helpful.
Well, thank you.
Well, one thing for sure is that understanding our life as it is makes our life easier. It's because of not understanding that we're in a mess. So if you are developing, you're on the right path, it's not a hard thing. In that regard, it's very hard to understand, but the fruits of understanding is something you would not see anything more worthwhile,
Do you really think it makes life easier?
Why not? Before you used to
I'm
believe
still very
that,
troubled about various things.
Instead of saying
See,
life easier.
I was talking with Rit. He was saying life should be easy or something. I said the difference is before hearing the Dhamma and after hearing the Dhamma. We can't say everyone's life is the same. We can say that particular person before hearing the Dhamma and after hearing the Dhamma, there is a difference. And the difference has to be in this regard, that it makes life easier. Instead of being caught up in seriously about the people hurting us and all that, there are people, that's wrong view. Wrong view itself, if it's attenuated even a little, should make life easier, right? Okay, we may face the results of karma, but that's another matter. Maybe our karmas bear fruit after. That's another matter. We get old, we get sick, that's a different matter. But as a general rule, understanding should make life easier.
I can understand what you're saying, because I believe that and I think it comes from as there's, you know, some growing wisdom, there's probably a little less attachment to certain events. But I wouldn't think it was easy.
Sense objects, though. The idea of self is such a burden, isn't it?
Understanding does help, even a tiny amount. And as to wrong view, not everything is corrected all at once. It seems like these tiny, tiny, tiny adjustments are necessary. There's this analogy I hear bandied about a plane being off course 95% of the time, but its automatic navigation system, it will arrive in Hawaii at the appointed time within, you know, such and such. The point is here, it's not that the plane is 95% of the time off course, but that the navigating system is constantly making adjustments, and that's how
the navigating system. What are you referring to?
Dhamma, Dhamma, this hearing the Dhamma, being around wise friends, and here slowly the wrong view is getting corrected. It doesn't happen all at once. It's devotion and patience and hearing the Dhamma, hearing truth, being around wise friends, wise consideration, reflecting.
After you know it.
It's worthwhile though.
Straightening.
It'll take a long
view.
time, but it's
Right.
worthwhile. Because where am I? The other things aren't satisfying the questions, the answers. This is I mean, you know, I kept coming and saying, this is making sense. You know, it's making sense to me. Maybe I'll just come here and listen.
Excuse me, may I say something? If we talk about lie, I understand that because lie is suffering, yeah, and the more we have attachments, the more we have suffering. Yeah, if less attachments, maybe more happiness in our life. And to ally is the best in our life is to ally with the understanding. Ally to understand Dhamma is the best things in our life.
Because you know the true.
Yeah.
But we should get to what is Dhamma.
What is lie? Also, yeah.
What is Dhamma? Betty's question. Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think? Because this is what we study here, and you want to listen and know what we're studying here. So first of all, let me ask you what you think Dhamma might be.
I don't know.
You have no idea. Okay.
I don't
Okay. Well, Dhamma has maybe several different definitions, but the most important one is realities. Okay, we also can use the word interchangeably, dhammas or realities. Dhamma also means the teaching with a capital D. But basically, dhammas are realities that rise and fall away. And we think this is real. We say, oh, this is a pen. We think it's real. But this pen, which has shape and form, is a construct of the mind. What instead, this pen is made up of realities, in this particular instance called rupa, material realities, okay? And as is everything on this table, okay, that has shape and form. We got a glass here, we got telephone, we got paper, we have all kinds of things, microphones and whatever. And all those are made up of realities that are called rupa. There are also mental realities that create thought, that help to perceive objects through what we call the various senses, okay? And that basically is life, is the perception of realities through what are commonly called the senses. But we like to call them sense doors. And so then we talk about what they actually are. Okay, so there are, there is hearing or seeing, smelling, tasting, touching. We also have another sense that is thinking. We'll call it thinking. And this is what, in every nanosecond, in the space of doing this, say, snapping one's fingers, we have thousands of these mental realities that arise and fall away. They arise, they do their job, fall away. Arise, fall away, arise, fall away. Very, very quickly, in this, thousands and thousands have arisen, fallen away. Yeah.
You know why that appears to be the case, that why we believe that that is the case, that in a snap of finger there are trillions of mind moments arising, falling away. It's because first of all, there can only be one moment of consciousness at a time. Yet, like now, as I'm seeing you, it seems so many things are happening. But really, that is because it's arising and falling away so fast, one after another. So that's what it is. That life is those moments arising and falling away, one falling through the five senses in the mind alternately.
Think of it something like an electric current. Electric current is small bits and pieces. You know, it's not a continuous current. We think it, but because it happens so fast, we think everything is basically just flowing along smoothly, continuous line of things going on. When in actual fact, things are arising, and when we say falling away, we mean they're gone, finished. Okay. So these realities are arising and falling away, mental realities and physical realities. Okay. So this looks like it's pretty permanent. We got a phone here, but in fact, the realities, the rupa realities, the material realities that make up this phone, arise and fall away so fast.
Would you actually, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But I think it's sort of putting the emphasis a bit incorrectly by saying this pen's made up of rupas. That's giving the pen a life.
Well, because we see this as a pen. No. So we're not saying that this is a pen. I don't mean specifically it's a pen made up of rupas, but that there's rupas that are seen through the eyes because of ignorance. We see it as a pen.
Yes. So that's the try to elaborate on what Betty is saying. It's not like the study of physics or chemistry where we think that this is made up of particles and all that. The idea is to understand that what we take for something solid as that is actually, like I was trying to say, it rises and falls away so fast that it appears like a whole, but it's actually different moments, different realities, like seeing only ever experiences visible object and followed by thinking, seeing, thinking, that gives an idea of something distinct. And all those realities, not just the mind, but even the visible object is never the same, right? So we're actually talking about something that does not exist, right? We take what is not real for real.
And all this happened before the electron microscope came into existence. This was what Buddha Gautama was saying a couple millennia ago, 2.5 millennium ago. And now we have these electron microscopes, and here are these scientists lining up for Nobel Prizes because they discovered something which has been known.
Yes, but this
Well,
that's not
Buddha.
true.
But Rupa is
That's not true.
far smaller than quantum physics.
So with this analogy,
I can speak English a little bit เบียร์คือวันนี้ไม่ได้ต้องการให้เขามาเปลี่ยนอะไรเลยแต่ว่าในความคิดที่เบียร์เคยเล่าให้แม่ฟังคืออย่างดูหนังเขาก็บอกไม่ใช่เรื่องจริงและบางอย่างก็เป็นอดีตไปแล้วคือแนวคิดอะไรเขาเหมือนกับว่าเนี่ยอยากให้ได้สนทนากับอาจารย์ใช่เราไม่ต้องการยัดเยียดหรือว่าไม่ต้องการให้เขาเปลี่ยนอะไรแต่ทีนี้แนวคิดของเขาเบียร์ต้องคุยกับอาจารย์ว่าแนวคิดของเขา
we make sure we need reminders all the time because of our own attachments and ignorance, and and our eagerness to express ourselves. But actually underlying that, we're just trying to help, in the best of our own ability. So don't mind if it seems pushy,
The thing is, he said he wants to listen. Twice he said.
Yes, and I've experienced this with Christianity and Catholicism when people approach me, that pushiness, and I don't like it. It pushes us away. I get the opposite effect,
Yeah,
And
you
I-
got the truth, and you better believe it. Yeah, I don't like
Yeah,
So he said he want to listen, so you should
better
let
than
him
talk,
listen.
yeah.
We just talk what we want to talk. That's all. I think I'm fine, huh? Right? We three of us agree, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Part of the
yes.
discussion is asking you
And it's
questions
too much
and
digest also for you,
clarifying.
right? It's too much for you. It's too much. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Feeling a bit
Exactly.
anti, yeah.
พี่ต้องคุยกับท่านอาจารย์ว่าปกติเนี่ยแนวคิดเป็นยังไงแล้วก็จะได้สนทนา
That's why that was my first question. I said, what do you believe? I didn't even want to bring up Buddhism. I wanted what was his interest, and start from there. Anyway.
And without chitta, the physical body is just rupa, it's just matter, inanimate matter. Without consciousness, it's dead. That's the definition of death, essentially. And that this vehicle distilled down to its natural elements and sold in the marketplace is probably worth less than $5. So life is consciousness, and many people will say that. And this is harmonious with what I've learned here about chitta, except consciousness now has a different word, chitta. And slowly listening and starting to understand bit by bit. But it's a lot the first time. It's a lot to digest, and some of the concepts and the ideas it's just too much information all at once.
But anyway, for you, for us, for everyone, the encouragement is just to understand the moment. If not understanding this and just talking a lot is useless. So, yeah. That's a good. Your reaction is a good reminder for us. Thank you.
Can I go back to what I brought up with you before about, you're hearing the Dhamma and it doesn't make life easier. Well, I do have a story. I have a neighbour who's quite an angry man, and he can yell. I'm in the bush. A neighbour. And he can yell really loudly and swear, and it's horrible. And then the other day I changed my thought. Instead of going, oh, that man, I went, he's not okay. So, like having compassion for him. So I did actually go and say, look, I don't care what you're yelling about, but I want to know if you're okay. And it really changed. His whole demeanour really changed. And so, and I don't think I would have done that without knowing about compassion and stuff.
So he changed he doesn't yell anymore? or what?
No. He does yell, but
See,
he did.
or you could simply have understood that it's just long stories, right? About the other person, about me, about him.
I could have, but
Right.
it was
Actually, it's just one moment of hearing and thinking. It's just that. Life is just that.
Yeah, because when we think that way, we can disattach from the anger.
He's suffering.
So that's disattaching. What she's illustrating was a moment of disattaching from the habitual anger she feels when she hears this guy yell. And so she was able to think something else that didn't arouse anger for her. Instead, it aroused compassion. Maybe there's something wrong with him. And she went to say, well, I hope you're okay. Is there anything wrong? And then that's a Dhamma. We can call it, if you want to call it a Dhamma moment, if you like. But there was a realization for her in understanding how to deal with this particular man.
But although that could arise even for a person who has not heard a Dhamma. I mean, someone...
That's possible, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But the Dhamma does encourage good in other kinds of good as well.
So, what's the benefit of the talking about now? Just to hear or think about it? And for anyone in this room, not just to hear, but to think over it, whether there can be more understanding about what is heard. For example, right now, when we talk about God, that is not enough. If someone would say what God is, it's better than just believe in it, in God or anything. So I think that Dhamma discussion, the benefit is to understand clearly what is it, not just one's own idea, but talk about it clearly, about what is true, absolutely truth.
I mean, to put it in a different way, so the Buddha's teachings, the Dhamma, is all about understanding the truth of our life as it is from moment to moment. If that's what we are interested in, then we listen to the Buddha, because from what I understand, no one else can teach this. People, other religions just teach you to believe.
Oh, we don't have to say it's the teachings of the Buddha, but what about that is heard is true or not? Like now, what is true? See? Otherwise, we do not think anything at all, just follow the word. That's not enough. But when we think about it, it's one's own understanding, one's own idea, one's own consideration. So it's not easy at all to talk about anything around without hearing more about it, so that we can know whether how much we understand it or not. For example, see, just see. There is seeing. We don't mind whether it's God's words or whose words, but what is that? If someone would say about it, and we consider that it's true, then it's right. For example, what is seeing? There is seeing in all one's life, but what is it?
That's a question.
Yes. What is seeing?
I think you can see with your eyes, but I believe you see in other ways too. You see with an inner eye. I think there's other different levels of seeing.
No, but generally when people talk about seeing, a kid says, I see the mountain, or someone else says, I see that person. What is it that we're talking about at that moment? What is it? It's different from when we say, oh, I hear the bell, or I hear, or I taste the apple. That seeing is something different from hearing, from tasting, right? So what is this seeing? What is it?
It's visual. It's an image, it's a picture, it's something you can
See.
So that there are at least two different things going on. One is that is experiencing, and one is that is being experienced, right? Because you wouldn't know that there's something unless you know that knowing is knowing something, right? So there's seeing, which is the experience, and that's which is seen, which is the object of that experience, right? So these two are different, right?
Yes.
Mm.
This will bring more to understand what life is, the whole life, from birth to death. Otherwise, we just live and we do not understand anything at all.
So instead of a sort of blind faith, what do I believe in this and what do I believe in, but not really having any definite answer about it, there's no understanding. So to go from blind to understanding, and that's different from grasping at straws. But seeing is eye base, sees visible object. Visible object, this object impinges on eye base. And then when, then, all right, here, microphone. But that's the concept. Right at the moment of seeing, it's just
The picture.
object and eye base impinges on eye base. So long after that concept of microphone, that's an idea. Ideas come and go. It's not the self, non-self.
So Eve has just pointed out to another reality, which is necessary for this experience of seeing, experiencing something that's seen. The eye, right? It's quite obvious, right? Without the eye, you cannot see. So that's another reality. So these three, basically, for seeing to arise, there must be something touching the eye, contacting the eye. And now I brought up contact. Contact is another reality, right? So this is what we learn. And if you're interested, then you'll be interested. Some people are not. Some people have come to listen to a chant for years and then end up, surprisingly, we hear the same thing over and over again. It shows that they're not interested. It means that because it is ignorance of these that we are interested in other things other than the truth. So if you're interested in the truth, then it's never enough to hear about this thing over and over again. Because regardless of what you're thinking about, you're a scientist or musician or composer or an artist doing your thing and being praised by the world, in the end, it's just different experience with the sense doors in the mind. And there's no understanding. It's just following ignorance and attachment like animals, right? So if you are interested in understanding the truth, then this is the place.
There is no self which directs which reality, which rupa, which Dhamma arises and falls away, and so now I'm going to look at this and see this, and now I'm going to hear this and hear this sound, and now I'm going to taste this. How is it that this is chosen? So that's, yeah, it's sort of something a bit much for the first time to hear about this non-self, that there's this chitta, this consciousness that arises and falls away. Feels like a fused whole. I'm hearing and seeing and tasting and touching and doing this at the same time, but this is not the reality. It's one moment at a time. Just as under electron microscope, this table appears as a fused whole, but actually under that electron microscope, these particles moving so rapidly.
Why is it we say that there's no self? It's because if there's understanding of these realities of the five senses and the mind, you come to understand that there's only just this moment of seeing, thinking. So wherefore the self? Where is the self? Because that's the, and if you understand the conditions, without visible object contacting the eye that cannot be seen, this is how seeing arises, then you know how each of those realities arises by conditions such as this. So no place for the idea of self. But the idea of self does arise. And that's because of wrong understanding. That's another reality. And because realities rise and fall away so fast, following each other, it gives the idea of a whole. And because there's ignorance, then that also encourages the wrong idea of there are people and things. But when it comes to the moment to moment experience, there's no such thing. Nowhere can we see a person except through by thinking. Nowhere can we hear a bell. It's only thinking that there is a bell and the sound of a bell, because at the moment of just experiencing sound, that's it, just a sound. That's the truth. So same with God, it's not necessitated. I mean, there's no place, because if life is just this, each moment one after another, then there's no place for the idea of God. Because now you begin to understand this is life. It's impossible to fit in the idea of God with this.
Kim, what makes it so difficult to see the moments of seeing and hearing, and what makes it so easy to know or to see that it is just arising and falling?
No, it's difficult because of ignorance, right? And it's also difficult because the nature of rising and falling away so fast gives the impression of a whole, continuity. And it's not easy to understand. Oh. นั่งนานไม่ได้เหมือนกันต้องเดินบ่อย so first is ignorance for sure. Because of ignorance, we've never not heard the Dhamma. For a person who's not heard the Dhamma, there cannot be this understanding about moments, right? So, and still it's difficult after hearing the Dhamma, but that's because of so much ignorance. Yeah.
Excuse me, can I would like to say a little bit related to Sita that you said about your sentence. It is very difficult, you know.
What makes it difficult?
Yeah.
What makes it easy?
Yeah, it's not easy because it will be.
What makes it possible?
Possible. Sorry. Okay, that's
because if we know it's like about now, like seeing, hearing can be enlightened, you know. It's not easy to be enlightened. Like, you know, like one sutta in Tipitaka, in sutta about Parutahaya, Parutahaya is the top of the fastest to enlighten, you know. He met the Buddha, and the Buddha said that seeing is just seeing, hearing is just hearing, touching is just touching, like that. And after that, he was enlightened at the moment. You know, so it's not easy. It's very difficult, you know. Just seeing, we don't know what is seeing is. Yeah, we don't know about it. We see every day, we see every day, we hear every day, but we don't know what is this, you know. Just we think that, we misunderstand that, we see, we hearing, but it is just a Dhamma, one by one at the moment, you know. We need to eon and eon, accumulate a lot, eon and eon, until one day.
Yeah. Accumulate a lot of.
Yeah, panya. Yeah, accumulates panya, eon and eon, until one day, the panya can experience about seeing and hearing. You know, it's very difficult, you know, because a lot of attachment, ignorance. Yeah, a lot of self.
นานๆมาไงคะ
ได้มากราบท่านอาจารย์จะได้สนทนาอันเดียวแสดงความคิดเห็นมีคำถาม
แล้วแต่ไม่มี
ฟังอาจารย์มาฟังอาจารย์มาเหมือนที่อาจารย์พูดเลยค่ะคือไม่มีคำถามค่ะแต่คือเหมือนกับว่าเข้าใจฟังแล้วก็เข้าใจฟังไปเรื่อยๆค่ะแล้วก็เพราะว่าจริงๆแล้วพอถามขึ้นมาก็เป็นอย่างอื่นไปแล้วค่ะอาจารย์คือไม่ใช่ขนาดนี้อย่างที่อาจารย์สอนเป็นแค่เห็นได้ยินรู้สึกพ พอถามก็เป็นอย่างอื่นไปแล้ว
ดีมาก
ค่ะ
คือทุกอย่างเป็นธรรมะทั้งหมดเลยไม่ใช่เรา
คือโทมัสขอพูดภาษาไทยคือโทมัสเนี่ยค่ะอาจารย์เขาก็เหมือนกับซึมซับจากเบียร์เหมือนกันนะคะเขาไปเจอคนต่างชาติที่พูดถึงพระนะคะทีนี้คนต่างชาติเนี่ยเขาก็เห็นว่าอันเนี้ยคือพระเหรอเขาก็บอกว่าโทมัสเขาบอกไม่ใช่ที่เขาฟังมาจากเบียร์ไม่ใช่พระในพระธรรมวินัยขนาดเขาแค่ฟังนิดเดียวอะค่ะก็ยังมีประโยชน์ค่ะอาจารย์
ปรากฏว่าเขาโชว์ให้ลูกค้าเขาดูเขาบอกว่านี่ถ้าสมมติว่าอยู่ต้องการจะศึกษาธรรมะนี่อยู่ควรจะไปที่เว็บไซต์นี้เสร็จแล้วเขาก็บอกว่าพระที่ลูกค้าเขาพูดถึงนะคะไม่ใช่พระในศาสนาพุทธ
เก่งมาก
แล้วเบียยังเสร็จแล้วเขาโทรมาตอนที่เขาขับรถอยู่นะคะเขาโทรมาถามว่าเว็บไซต์นี้ชื่อเว็บไซต์อะไรเบียก็ส่งลิงก์ให้เขาก็เอาให้ลูกค้าเขาบอกว่านี่ถ้าอยู่ต้องการจะรู้เรื่องธรรมะอยู่ควรจะเข้าไปในเว็บไซต์นี้
ลูกค้าเป็นคนไทยหรือเปล่าคะ
ลูกค้าเป็นฝรั่งค่ะ
ทำงานอยู่ที่อเมริกาค่ะอาจารย์เนี่ยค่ะขนาดเขาไม่ได้ฟังจริงจังค่ะเขายังสามารถเอาไปใช้ประโยชน์ได้เพราะฉะนั้นในความรู้สึกที่ฟังมาจากเบียร์ค่ะอาจารย์แนวคิดเขาจะไม่เหมือนคนทั่วไปค่ะอาจารย์
แต่ก็ไม่แน่นะเพราะผมบางทีขับรถแล้วเห็นพระมีอยู่ 3-4 ครั้งที่แฟนผมชี้ให้ผมบอกนี่พระทำตัวแบบนี้เหรอแต่เขาก็ไม่เข้าใจไหมแต่เขารู้ว่ามันไม่สมควรแต่ก็ตามทำความแต่เขาก็ไม่เข้าใจธรรมะอยู่ดี
คืออันนี้อธิบายเหมือนกับว่าเขายังไม่ได้ศึกษาเลยนะคะแต่ว่าแค่เขาได้ฟังเขาก็ยังไปใช้ประโยชน์ได้อย่างนี้ค่ะแนะนำให้มาฟังนะคะแล้วก็
อย่างแนะนำใช่เป็นประโยชน์
คืออันเนี้ยเขายังไม่ได้ฟังเลยพูดถึงคนยังไม่ได้ฟังเลยนะคะแล้วก็อย่างแนวคิดเขาที่ลูกสาวเล่าให้ฟังอย่างเขาดูหนังทางเคเบิลอะไรเงี้ยค่ะเขาบอกไม่ใช่เรื่องจริงค่ะแล้วบางอย่างมันก็เป็นอดีตไปแล้วคือต้องฟังจากเบียร์ค่ะเพราะว่าไม่ได้อยู่กับเขาอะนะคะ
แต่เรื่องไม่จริงเช่นเดียวกันไม่ใช่ว่าอยากจะนั่นนะแต่ก็คือให้ดู general ว่ามันเพราะว่าคนทั่วไปก็รู้ว่าหนังมันไม่จริงอ่ะ
ค่ะใช่แต่อันนี้กำลังจะอธิบายว่าแนวคิดไงคะแนวคิดที่เขายังไม่ได้ฟังอะไรเลยใช่ไหมคะอย่างคนทั่วไปเนี่ยเอางี้ขนาดฟังแล้วบางครั้งเราก็ยังดูใช่ไหมคะเพราะเราก็ทราบว่ามันไม่จริงค่ะ
ไม่มีความเห็นผิดว่ามันเป็นจริงไง
ค่ะใช่
ก็ดูเพราะโลภะ
ค่ะแต่ทีนี้อย่างที่มาวันนี้ค่ะพอดีเบียร์ต้องงานมากราบท่านอาจารย์ด้วยแล้วก็อยากให้เขาได้แสดงความคิดเห็นในความคิดเห็นของเขาด้วยว่าความคิดเห็นเขาเนี่ยมันกับศาสนาเราเนี่ยค่ะมันก็จะเหมือนกับว่าอะไรอะมันอาจจะคล้ายคลึงกันหรืออะไรแบบ
ไม่มันคล้ายไม่ได้คือถ้าไม่ใช่ธรรมะก็คือไม่ใช่ธรรมะ
สำหรับคนที่ยังไม่ฟังเลยอะค่ะ
ก็นั่นแหละมันยังผิดอยู่ดีจะถ้ายังไม่ฟังเลยนะผิดแน่นอน
อันนี้ค่ะแน่นอนค่ะเพราะว่าไม่ฟังเนี่ยไม่รู้อะไรอะค่ะตั้งแต่เกิดจนตาย
จะคล้ายกันก็ไม่มีความหมาย
ค่ะใช่แต่ทีนี้ถามว่านะคะถ้าคนเขาไม่มีแนวคิดอันนี้เลยอย่างเงี้ยค่ะแล้วเราจะมาพูดเขาก็ยิ่งไม่สนใจ
ก็ไม่แน่บางคนนี่แบบเซ่อซ่ามากเลยไม่สนใจอะไรเลยมาฟังธรรมะแล้วสนใจบางคนนี่เป็นนักปรัชญานี่โอ้จะค้นหาเก่งมากคิดเก่งมากฟังธรรมะไม่สนใจ
ก็อย่างที่บอกนะคะเราก็ไม่ทราบว่าใครสะสมมาใช่ไหมคะ
นั่นเราไม่รู้เพราะฉะนั้นมันไม่ใช่มาจากที่ว่าเราดูก่อนว่าแกเป็นคนแบบไหนมันไม่เกี่ยวให้เขาฟังตอนนั้นถ้าเข้าใจแปลว่าสะสมมาแล้ว
นี่ไงคะก็ถึงได้ว่าให้เขาได้มาฟัง
Is it possible to get a brief translation of what all that was about? I mean, sound impinges on ear.
Yeah, that's good enough, isn't it?
Why ask? It's totally only the sound, not even like a because she don't understand.
All the time. All the time.
Switch it on first. No, you have to switch it on first. Switch it on first because we can't hear you.
So that's only the sounds. So it's kind of like that's totally the Dhamma, like not because they have no remember of the words that we talking about in Thai language. So that's exactly a good example of Dhamma. when you only heard the sound, it's just only the sound. If not understand, it means nothing. No,
There's thinking
exactly.
and there's tosa, there's lopa, everything is the same. So doesn't that's a way to illustrate the difference between just hearing and thinking. But it may be misleading to say that there's understanding of just hearing. Right, a child does not understand. Right.
อันนี้ค่ะอย่างเบียร์เนี่ยครั้งแรกเขาก็ไม่สนใจฟัง
โอ้แต่เก่งมากเลยเมื่อกี้พูดแค่นี้ผมประทับใจมากเลย
นี่
ว่า
ค่ะ
ถามคำถาม
กำลังจะบอก
ผ่าน
ค่ะ
ไปแล้ว
คือตอนแรกเขาก็ไม่สนใจ
ผมเลยไม่
เนี่ยค่ะเขาไม่สนใจเลยนะคะ ก็บอกเขาเนี่ยมาฟังอาจารย์เพราะจริงๆตัวเองก็มาฟังได้ปีกว่าแต่ปีกว่าเนี่ยมีความรู้สึกว่าเหมือนกับชีวิตทั้งชีวิตเลยมันพลิกไปทุกอย่างเลย เป็นอะไรที่เหมือนกับว่าต่อให้จะไปเจออะไรที่ลำบากแบบนี้ถ้ามาแลกกับไอ้ความที่เราไม่รู้เนี่ยใช่เราไม่เอา
ไม่มีอะไรมีค่า
อันนี้ก็อยากให้ฟังจากเบียร์ว่าที่เขาฟังเพราะอะไรเพราะเริ่มแรกเขาก็ไม่ได้ฟังเบียร์เริ่มฟังอาจารย์ครั้งแรกเพราะอะไรเพราะแม่ไม่พูดโรคการสะสมมา
ก็จริงๆแล้วแม่ actually my mom try to tell me to listen to Ajahn Sujin for forever. Every time she called me, I talk to her, she is always like you should listen to her, listen to her once and you know what I'm talking about. And then I'm like, because mom always she's as my mother, always try to give me all the good things that she think that is good. And for a long time that I never listened the first time listen to Ajahn Sujin, I can't turn it off. And then and she only she talk about sea. That's the first thing I heard about. So what's the sea? And it really makes sense. So sea is only two root that is exactly. So and then listen, so after listen to everything, it makes sense. I mean, it makes sense from when let's say she talk about let's say why you see this, and 5 people might sit in the same room, only myself that hear this, and the rest of it not heard it exactly. Or so it's kind of like a vibak. Yes. So
การสะสมมากกว่าคือวิบากก็คือได้ยินแหละไม่มีเสียงไหนที่ไม่เหมือนกัน It's not all sound, all hearing is different. I'm talking here the sound that's heard by Azita and the sound is not the same sound. It's all different. So vibak is just hearing, but understanding, because those people might have heard, they also hear sound, right? But it's the accumulations that made the difference. They have no accumulation to understand. You have accumulation to understand, which is quite clear. You just hear about seeing and you're interested. That shows that you have a lot of accumulation to understand, because most people just like to hear stories about people. People like to read suttas but not hear the Abhidhamma because they like stories. But you go to the point of understanding Dhamma.
After then, since it's kind of I know that I don't know anything at all.
Right, yeah, it's good.
So,
Very good. But you know that you don't know what.
And when your husband, who is now arisen and passed away, never to return, I'm being humorous, spoke about can't control circumstances, people, places, things, what happens, conditions, and That's absolutely correct, because there is no self to direct what arises and falls away. Makes sense.
Well, some people would go on to believe that it's the work of God. Inshallah.
Yes. And we ask, and there are no definite answers. It's just blind faith, grasping at straws, some sort of story to explain things, but no understanding, and so lost. So I feel there is sadness arising, and other things. For example, the angry person who yells is suffering. They're not just yelling, they're suffering. There's something going on. So, yeah, I hope he'll come back to listen, right? I don't know what all that was, but yeah, it's good having you. Thank you.
No, he has a good friend.
Yeah, he does. And a good mother.
But just to hearing is not enough. There should be considering whether it's true or not, and can we know more instead of just hearing that it does not. It's not permanent. It just arises by conditions and falls away. That's not enough. We can learn more and more about it because so much to learn. Yeah.
Never enough.
Right.
I already know that never.
Yeah. Because from seeing it will bring to life, the whole life, each life.
Because even some people listen for many years, but still, the self.
It's there.
It's there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even listen for never, until you know that's not self.
And that's true.
Yes,
because this is only the intellectual understanding.
Sometimes even just listen. The last that me and my mom sit in that room listening to the explaining about Dhamma. And then my mind thought about something, it's already there. Mm-hmm. And then I notice it it's kind of like it's not you that's the one who do it. Actually, you the one who follow, and kind of recognize yourself sometime that that's you. It's not you that thinking, mm-hmm. but you recognize that it's already there and past.
Mm-hmm.
It's those aha moments, and must have heard something a long time ago, and aha, that's it. The little deaths, life, consciousness, one moment at a time, arising and falling away, life, death, life gone, aha, like that.
Actually, I think you can tell exactly, it's not the same moment when it's kind of if you want to try to listen to Ajahn, but something kind of got your attention, and then it just you can't do this the same thing at the same time. So that is what proves that seeing, hearing, smelling is not the same time. So actually the knowing, that's only one at a time.
And the people.
Yeah, and it's a beginning of understanding the anothness.
And so coming here and listening, having such perfect focus to hear everything, hear, what's that over there, motion. So the mind, it's very anatomist, the non-self. It's wonderful, though. I can't hear it enough.
Yes, ma'am. I agree.
Excuse me, can I move around a little bit? Excuse me, Ajahn, may I ask you a question? Because I'm not sure, about from what I study and from what I hear, that it's people they dance, so it means they are crazy. in วินัยอริยวินัยวินัยของพระอริยวินัย
You still have the idea of people and things, not about moment of chitta. See?
Yeah, it's also sometimes like that. But I would like to say like Sotapanna can they dance? Can
Why not?
Oh, can dance. Yeah.
Why not?
Because it's crazy. It means like crazy. So it can be.
Can they laugh?
They can angry. They can help.
Yeah.
So why we discussed this before the thing. He said he read in one sutta. He said พระอริยบุคคลในพระธรรมวินัยนี้ถ้าเป็นพระอริยแล้วอ่ะก็ไม่พูดสิพูดมา
คือในอริยวินัยใช่ไหมอาจารย์ Dan it mean like crazy it mean crazy
for
in อริยวินัย
for whom
อริยวินัย
for whom there are people who are Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami and Arahata.
I think Sotapanna and Sakata can be.
That is your thought.
So it's what is the real?
It's not okay. Because I told him the kilesas that are eradicated have nothing to do with dance, so they can dance, right? But because he said that it's pra Arya, so I wasn't sure. Arya Vinay means that all Aryans. No. Okay.
Stage by stage.
Anakami definitely no. Absolutely no.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because Ajahn, sometimes I samadhana like.
What do you mean by samadhana?
Samadhana.
Yeah, what is that?
Samadhana. Like, it means like. How can I say in English language? Samadhana. It means to. How samadhana means to wrap.
Do you samadhan to come here to have Dhamma discussion?
Can we say samadhana?
It's not the word.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because samadhan is the moment when there is intention to do that.
Yeah, intention.
When you see someone is killed and you see that that shouldn't be like that, and then you think for yourself, I will never kill. You don't have to tell anyone, but at that moment it is samadhana.
Oh, samadhana.
Just take it for doing in your life.
Yeah, for it's normally like patuchana, like when even though they are samadhana, the ubosutasin.
It's not a matter of saying out, follow the word, but it's a moment that you take it for yourself to do, to follow.
With understanding.
It depends. If someone would like to observe only 5 or 8 sila by themselves, they may not have any understanding at all.
So it's samadhana even if there's no
intention.
Okay.
Please excuse me. I didn't get your name. Madam. Shubia. I'm Eve. About this gentleman, he has a wise friend and a wise mother. All these things about this God as source, and he mentioned about wisdom and anataness of can't control things and all that. It happens that all these attributes, parami, of wisdom, of truth, of love, it seems so abstract and it's difficult to wrap a mind around these concepts and to understand that there's a projection of it onto a God and a story. But even though, I don't know, I wish he were here just to tell him directly, maybe you can help him out in some way, is that even though this concept of God, no. But all these attributes, all these parami are Dhamma, they're real. And it's so wonderful to hear the truth.
That's why we should understand the word of the Buddha. Not just the word like people do not understand and just follow. I will samadhan, but no understanding. Any moment when there is intention not to do this or that, even the bandit or the robber samadhana to do his job or his work. That way, that is samadhana in Pali language. It can be kusala or akusala because it's only the intention to follow to do that. So do you use madana to listen to the teachings?
Yes,
You don't have to tell anyone at all at that moment.
You mean to listen Dhamma.
Do you use madana to not to kill?
But we don't need to tell another people.
You don't have to speak out. You don't have to say anything. But the intention not to kill is there. Samadana.
But it also does not mean that if there's intention not to kill, the killing stops. No.
Because that there are chetana samadana, not the virati. Yeah, it's only samadana, not virati.
And would awareness of the danger condition that? Awareness of the danger of killing? The unwholesome results, the sankharas?
Even you intend not to kill, but when time comes, it doesn't depend on you, but it depends on virati cetasika, whether it arises or not. That's why there it's not only samadana, but there is also virati cetasika.
Then we have another one.
And samuchena, samucheta for Aaron only. No need to samadana because there's no condition to kill anymore.
I want to say my bad thing to Ajahn, to like a few days ago my friend bring me to dance like a little bit dance. I dance because of my friend, but normally I don't like dancing. A little bit, that's okay. But I know it is like it's nonsense. We can if we have enough.
Do you like to sing?
For me, normally no.
Do you like to play football?
No. I like to listen Dhamma. But I like swimming for me, like because it's good for health. I like walk or run a little bit like that. Exercise a little, but normally not. But I listen to the song or music. It depends on the meaning. Like.
Do you like to watch TV?
Normally no, but I look like, for example, like Mr. Barack Obama when they talk, Mr. Trump, because of the knowledge, because I can get benefit from the TV.
What is that moment?
It's also just seeing.
No. What follows?
Follow, you mean like that?
After seeing, what's there?
Thinking.
Yeah.
And then what? Thinking with what? What cetasika?
Yeah, but it's attachment or.
Yeah, it's still there. And wrong understanding as well.
Attachments.
Even if it's vicha is derachan vicha, right?
Yeah. No, normally I don't like the movies.
What about next life? As long as it's there.
Now suddenly if he wins a lottery of 20 million, things will change. If he wins a lottery of 20 million baht, things will change for sure.
No. It depends. Some, for the movie, it depends on some like.
Maybe he just received, but he still doesn't like it.
But maybe not.
No,
because it's hard to say.
Oh, Kun Sukin, this is speculation, sir.
Right, so it's speculating. I'm just countering the idea that I don't have the accumulations for this in this life. I'm saying that even in this life, there can be conditions. Today you don't like watching movies, watching dancing or listening to music. Tomorrow you might like.
What about like dancing and singing and becoming a sotapanna? Is it better than do not like singing, dancing, and just don't understand reality?
It's exactly like when we don't dance, and even though we are not done and we don't know about the truth now, we are like we see that I am not done now. And but someone they done, but they know the realities as they are at the moment. It's good. It's better than the people not done.
Right. That's what
Yeah.
in the morning discussions I was pointing out to the guest that in the beginning the aim of study is to see the danger in the idea of self, not get rid of attachment to sense objects. The idea of self is the first one to tackle, because if you don't see that, then it's so easy to take kusala for self. I want to develop, I want to be good, I want to be without attachment, I want to be. That's the first obstacle.
And my goodness, how formidable this concept of self is. Baby in womb dominates the whole womb. That's the universe. Comes out of the womb. Same program running. And then there's a name. Oh, Eve, Eve, Eve. It's just a point on a compass. All right, so Eve relates to that, and that's mother. I know mother, mother at the breast. But then the self takes over. It takes over. And this is not just a point on a compass. It's as if it's real, and it's formidable. The power of it is just astounding, the self.
Do you like beautiful things? Do you like beautiful things?
Beautiful thing?
Beautiful things.
For example, like
Anything you see?
oh yeah. Definitely I like beautiful things. I like beautiful things.
Oh, I know what's beautiful. It was that girl in the short shorts.
I mean I like beautiful girl. Like
Oh
No.
yeah, very, very
What,
short,
Oh yeah.
bending. Oh yeah, he chased her. I went into the sun.
Beautiful dancing.
Oh, you're talking about some real life
Yes. But we don't know anything about that.
You like?
Sometimes we dance. Sometimes, but not like how can you say the ballet ปะหานะที่สามอาจารย์ปะหานะ
สมุทรเฉทับ
it's not that because we are I am Patuchuna. So it's
So what about dancing? You are Putushana? It depends on accumulation, whether you like it or not.
Is there a Pali word for hormone?
in the past, in the past I done a lot. But about maybe 8 years ago, but when I start to listen Dhamma, I think it's not benefit. It's not good in our life. It's useless. It's
by Dhamma, not by you.
Yeah, by Dhamma. If I take the time to listen Dhamma or read the Tipitaka is better than that. But sometimes it's because our good friends follow me or related to our job, related to our function. So we need to do like that. We need to like that.
But this I is such a big problem. I like this, I don't like that, and all the while Lopa is arising.
Yeah. It's not the wholesome. It's not the kusala. It's all akusala.
So what?
It's not you who control it anyway.
Yeah, we cannot control it.
Exactly.
And that's when some people say, the devil made me do it.
Well, I think that in a way is not as bad as someone who does good and says and thinks that he's doing something good. You know.
It's good only when you know that
Right.
it's not you.
Yeah, that it's not you.
Yes, because when a person thinks maybe there'll be merit, no.
Yeah, during it's like we accumulate the panya. During dancing, the panya can know that it's just a low pass. It's just akusala.
You don't have to plan. It depends on condition.
overheard a bit about this I overheard a bit about this morning discussion though about the meditate. And seems like everyone around the world, everyone kind of like believe that meditate will benefit great in exactly.
No, but even if they don't say that, they sometimes conclude that it's good for them, maybe not good for you, right? And they say that there are different paths, different ways for different people. And that's like saying that the Buddha taught such a thing, that you can do whatever you like as long as you're, going the right way. But that's why we're here to talk about Dhamma, because in the end, if we understand that it's just Dhamma, Lopa is Lopa, no matter where. Seeing is seeing, no matter where. And I think that's the test. If you know that the Buddha taught to understand reality that's appearing now, and not the idea of doing something to get something, then you have no question that then you don't have such ideas that you have to do something. And yeah, I mean these are long stories of self who has to do something. It's just not understanding Dhamma. It's self.
And there is the misunderstanding about meditation.
And actually, that's what happened with them too. A bit about the
all over the world.
Yes, exactly.
They don't really understand what it means.
And everyone think that they're actually Buddhism. Exactly, will know the best about meditation and everything. So they kind of think that the Buddhism and Buddha taught. Exactly.
But actually, what I've seen is very often there are these beautiful golden sculptures of Buddha Gautama, perhaps, in a sitting posture. Eyes are open, hand is gesturing downward. Now in that age, in that day, here we have smartphones and mics and high-tech, micron telescopes. In his day, people just sat cross-legged on a rug or on the ground under a tree where a crowd could gather, and then he gave his discourse. Surprise, surprise, artist concept often depict a Buddha sitting down. And people somehow think that, I mean, even though it hasn't been taught,
they have
plays
picture
that
of him standing and lying down also.
Yes,
but that's
the
the
Buddha
thing.
taught meditation, and this is the way. And they have these teachers and internet, so much misinformation out there.
Not we the one though that built the Buddha sitting down, right? I mean, or we the one who built Buddha standing up. So actually what people believe is actually we the one who built it, not Buddha who that they're taught that a sit is good, or are we the one who built the Buddha around the world sitting down and do their meditate. Exactly.
This concept, standing, sitting, however, and the Buddha didn't never say, remember me this way.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's we build.
Only that. It's even when they read, like the person today, she's saying that's what the Buddha did before he got enlightened. He was sitting down under the tree. So even without the statues and the this thing, they would still come to that conclusion, reading from the text. So that's just a small part, the statues. But I think it's just people they just don't understand. They just like to get results. So rather than stand, they like to sit and concentrate. So yeah.
But isn't that like the Buddha would not have stood up and spoke with the people? He would have normally been sitting. It's etiquette. Like even the Vinaya, the monks are not walking around talking. No, So maybe that's where it's come from also, but he would have taught sitting down.
And also, so there are some wrong view around this whole Buddhism thing about people will go to a wat and they'll bow before Buddha, but I don't know if what's in their mind, if they're bowing out of respect for Dhamma, or it looks more like, are they worshipping this? And if they circumambulate and do these sort of ceremonies, merit will be done, and that itself, yes, me too. So it's something I notice, and yeah.
No one will ever know Buddha really until listen to what he achieved. Really, for myself, example, the same way growing up, in a Buddhism family, never heard like what Ajahn Sujin, taught. So it's kind of like you believe in the person who you not even know like what he's found out or what he's, is kind of like a traditional, like you believe, follow your same as you.
Or even if it's not that, if it's something like Azita or me or Betty, who were not born Buddhists, but we heard from other teachers. I used to listen to famous monks, and at that time I thought I knew, but it's only when I came here did I understand that only now I'm understanding Dhamma. Before that, no, not at all.
Yes, people call that a blind faith, believing in something but no understanding, which is different from understanding faith or confidence in the Dhamma.
So, having confidence in right understanding is the best thing in one's life.
Can we say it's the best motivation, having confidence?
That's why each word should be studied and understand clearly, like meditation. What is it? Don't just follow.
And actually you learn nothing from sit and kind of like clear your mind. You really you learn nothing at all, except maybe kind of like you got some those peaceful moments, and because it's Dhamma, so you can't get that peaceful every time. Even I try to meditate before and to do that kind of proof another level, just like you said, that it's not you, it's not yourself, because I can't control my mind to keep it like just like like peaceful and shut down like the whole 1 hour.
Right, but you just now you talked about knowing the Buddha only after hearing the Dhamma, right? Yes. So even that time, if you never heard the Dhamma, it was not understanding Dhamma. There was no understanding Dhamma. And the Buddha is who? Is the enlightened being. And what is enlightenment? It's wisdom, right? Of that higher level. So the teaching is for the purpose of understanding, not just to experience, right? So peaceful and all that, but no understanding, that's not Dhamma. That's not Buddha's teachings.
Anyone who has accumulation to hear the Dhamma can hear it.
And after listen and start to understand, and then it's kind of like that's totally open the whole. It's kind of like open every door. You know what I mean? Kind of like when you start to understand, you start to understand, and it just keep panya.
Do you mean that it like in before understanding there's so many many things you don't know what is what, but after understanding you know what is wrong is
everything makes sense.
Right? And you're not held by wrong understanding. Like before, oh, we're confused. We hear this, we hear that, and now a little clear.
Yes.
That's this much.
That's a wonderful thing, because lobha and this self, the concept of self, are formidable. But panya eradicates this. Yay! That, I mean, never to underestimate the power of panya. So there's hope. It doesn't, it's not so dark. And I tell, it's a good thing here, because I don't get discouraged. I encourage myself. There's something encouraging about this.
Well, the thing is, no matter how you think about it, there's nothing better. And this is the only way. So no matter you're discouraged or not, what are you going to turn to? Nothing. Nothing.
What else is there?
What else is there?
Dancing.
When listen to the Dhamma, it's kind of like when Ajahn Sujin said no self, it's kind of like when you go back to the sea again, and then it's just like a roop, and then the jit, that knowing, and that's it's when I'm kind of like started, that's the aha moment for me, like where is you.
How long are you going to be here? How long are you going to be in Thailand?
Oh, no, only for 3 weeks เองค่ะ until the 27.
อยู่พอร์ตแลนด์ใช่ไหมคะ
ใช่ค่ะ
แล้วคุณต๋องกับภรรยาอยู่ที่นั่นด้วยพอร์ตแลนด์เป็นพวกอะไรนะ
Portland.
Portland.
There's a couple that listen to them. They live there.
อ๋อเหรอฮะ
เดี๋ยวส่งลิงก์ส่งมาสองพูดชมดำรงกับภรรยาสองเขาอยู่พอร์ตแลนด์
เด็กดีใจมาก
ใช่ต้องดีใจต้องทำงานแล้วนะคะ
ค่ะอาจารย์
พี่โชคดีแล้วที่พูดภาษาไทยได้แล้วก็ฟังภาษาไทยเยอะๆ
ฟังจริงๆแล้วฟังตลอดเวลาที่ฟังได้เลยค่ะอาจารย์คือหมายถึงตื่นเช้ามาเป็นกิจวัตรค่ะตื่นเช้ามาฟัง แล้วก็เวลาขับรถถ้าไม่มีลูกค้าก็ฟัง
สมาทานนะค่ะค่ะ
ส่งลิงก์ให้คุณแม่เลยนะวันนี้สนทนา
ขอบคุณ
เรีย
ค่ะ
บร้อยแล้ว
Can she come to, what was that place, Kamkajan?
แก่นกระจานมันมีทริปไปต่างจังหวัดสิ้นเดือนวันที่24คือจะเป็น intensive หน่อยเพราะว่าอาจารย์ให้เวลาทั้งวันไปไม่อยู่เพชรบุรีนี่เองอยู่เพชรบุรีนี่ถ้าอยากจะไป
เดี๋ยวหนูขออะไรด้วยได้ไหมคะถ้าไปได้หนูอยากไปค่ะ
จะพาทอมัสไปด้วยไหม
ถ้าไปต้องไปด้วยกันค่ะ
ไปนะอยู่ฟิกซ์เป็นเลย
ค่ะแต่หมายถึงว่าถ้าไปได้อยากไปแต่
Yes, I'm going.
I mean, I'm not.
ใช่
So can you contact Sarah that
Yeah, I should be able to.
I will write.
you let me know because.
You want to go?
I will
No,
say about
I'm
it.
trying to encourage him to go,
Oh,
but
okay.
he said he'll let me know.
Yeah, I need to
Well,
see.
I think there's 2 places in the bus because Anne is not coming and Sundar is not coming.
Sundar's not
But she has to ask her husband first. Who's the
ต้องถามก่อนนะ
เป็น
ปรึกษาก่อน
เดี๋ยวเบื่อ
เดี๋ยวพูดแล้ว
เกิดเขาไม่อยากไปมันก็
ที่เงียบดี อาหารอร่อย
Pardon?
Who is it that's not coming there? เขาไม่ทานอะไร
Sundara and
Oh, Sundara.
and
And Anne. What happened to Sundara?
No, I was going to have a room on them because I didn't know she was going. And you too?
No, I just go one night. I can stay one night.
Oh, okay. Or maybe that's the bus then. That's the bus. Maybe that's not the route. I'll talk with Sarah.
เขาก็เลยพูดกับคุณพ่อเลยว่าต่อไปนี้เขาไม่ส่งเงินมาทำบุญแล้วนะแล้วก็พอเขาก็บอกคุณพ่อเขาว่าเนี่ยให้ฟังแค่อาจารย์แล้วเขาก็บอกกับพี่สาวเขาไปบอกกับคุณพ่อบอกว่าเนี่ยอย่าไปพูดให้ใครฟังนะเอาอะไรมาสอนเนี่ยทั้งที่คุณพ่อก็ไปอินเดียประจำนะแต่ก็แบบคนไม่รู้
ก็มีเยอะแต่ดีมากเลยผมไม่เคยเห็นใครเก่งขนาดนี้เลยใช่
จะฟังมาก่อน
ไม่โอ้ยังไม่รู้อีกเยอะมากค่ะรู้นี่ไม่รู้เยอะมากต้องฟังเท่าไหร่ก็ไม่พอค่ะอาจารย์แล้วฟังเท่าไหร่ก็ไม่พอค่ะอาจารย์เพราะว่าขนาดว่าฟังแล้วนะอาจารย์ทั้งที่คือรู้นะคะอาจารย์ว่าอาจารย์พูดก็ยังตัวตนนี่มันทุกที่ค่ะอาจารย์มันไม่ไปไหนเลยจริงๆค่ะวันนั้นที่ฟังอาจารย์อนนบนะคะมีอยู่วันหนึ่งที่อาจารย์พูดอธิบายเรื่องโมโหนะคะอาจารย์แล้วที่มีคนถามว่าประมาณว่าเหมือนกับว่าอ้าวก็นี่รู้ว่าโมโหแล้วที่อาจารย์บอกว่าขณะที่รู้ว่าโมโหขณะนั้นก็ยังเป็นตัวเราที่พยายามที่จะไม่โมโหถึงได้พยายามที่จะให้รู้ว่าโมโหสภาพโมโหเป็นยังไงโอ้โหรู้เลยค่ะอาจารย์ว่าจริงๆแล้วสภาพโมโหเนี่ยเวลาอาจารย์เดี๋ยวนี้เวลาโมโหนะคะอาจารย์คือรู้ถึงสภาพโมโหแล้วก็รู้ว่าทำอะไรไม่ได้
มีปัจจัย
ค่ะ
มีปัจจัย
แต่อาจารย์จะ remind เราว่าเวลาโกรธเกิดขึ้นเราคิดจะทำอะไรตัวโลภะไม่เคยคิดเลยว่าจะทำอะไร
จริงและอันนั้นยิบย่อยมากนะคะทั้งวันจริงๆทั้งวันจริงๆค่ะนิดเดียวก็ใช่นิดเดียวก็ใช่เหมือนอย่างที่แค่ทานข้าวเนี่ยนะน้ำปลาแค่นั้นนะรู้แล้วว่าใช่ค่ะแล้วก็ชัดด้วย
Okay. May the Kusala deeds I have done today be known to my parents, to those to whom I owe gratitude, both in this life and in past lives, to relatives and friends, and to all beings in other realms. May they all rejoice in these Kusala deeds.